On November 6, 2022, 10,000 video game players wore a full-dive virtual reality device called Nerve Gear and entered the game The Sword Art Online. However, the developer Akihiko trapped them in the game and made it impossible to log out. Game over meant death in real life. Even in such circumstances, some fought, some went out of contact, and some killed other characters. But then, 2 years later on November 7, 2024, thanks to one heroic character, the game was cleared and everyone was freed. In the end, 4,000 people lost their lives, and the ones freed after the death of Akihiko are called SAO survivors, who are now trying to go back to their normal lives. The person who cleared the game, Kirito and his lover Asuna, met back when they were in Sword Art Online. Kirito and Asuna made a promise to go see a meteor shower in Kirito's hometown together after they cleared the game. Kirito also promised to give Asuna a ring in real life. In the present day, we see people reporting about a new wearable device called Ogma. I guess they're still suckers for punishments. Ogma can be used while staying conscious. The device allows the users to play a game called Ordinal Scale, whose defining feature is its ranking system. As they play the game, their ranking goes up, allowing them to use the services of the companies participating worldwide. The image character of the game, Yuna, debuted as the world's first AI idol and is gaining popularity along with the game. Yuna is so popular she's even performing a concert soon. Elsewhere in a cafe, we see Kirito, Asuna, and their other friends and fellow SAO survivors, Liz and Silica, playing games and winning. As they walk out, they talk about how some SAO monsters have made an appearance in the Ordinal Scale game. Kirito's intrigued to hear this. Just then, they all get an invite to fight a boss. At the location of the boss battle, Kirito and Asuna meet some other SAO survivors and activate their Ogma to start the battle. Exactly at 9 p.m., the monster of floor 10 of the Samurai Lord makes its appearance along with Yuna to start the battle. With 10 minutes on the clock, the battle begins as people get eliminated one by one. 8 of them put up a good fight. Kirito feels his body getting heavier and starts to understand the difference between the games. Things don't look good, when suddenly a mysterious figure comes forward and deflects the bomb hitting the samurai. He turns out to be the second ranked in the Ordinal Scale called Hiram. With a minute left on the clock, everyone works together to beat the samurai. Hiram does most of the work, and right at the end, he switches places with Asuna, who stabs it, finishing the battle. Yuna kisses her on the cheek, announcing Asuna as the MVP of the game. That night, Hiram approaches another gamer with sinister intentions. Later in the park, Yuna and Hiram plan revenge on SAO survivors for some reason. That night, another SAO survivor, Klein, invites Asuna to a boss fight near her house, and she goes alone without informing Kirito. The next battle begins at 2 places. The boys and Asuna are divided into 2 separate servers to make them the target. Hiram observes the boys and decides to show them the difference between AR and VR and attacks them. Back at Asuna's server, she takes charge of the fight, slashing through the opponent and finishing the game. Hiram is watching all this from the side, determined to demonstrate his true power in the game. The next morning, we see Kirito waiting for Asuna at the place where the battle happened last night. Suddenly, as he turns, he is faced with a cloaked character whom he can't get a hold of. The ghost-like girl points at something and disappears, leaving him confused. Later, Asuna tells Kirito that Hiram is a survivor as well. As he was afraid of losing his life, he did not participate in any boss raids in the SAO. Such a change in Hiram's playstyle confuses both of them. Suddenly, Yui, the virtual child, tells them she found something out. Back home, Yui explains that the places where the SAO bosses appear coincide with a map of old SAO map. Hence, they can predict the place for that night's fight. Kirito then asks about Klein as he has been missing since the battle last night. In real life, Kirito calls Klein but does not get any answer. Elsewhere, Hiram is crossing out the names of the survivors he attacked last night, waiting to take revenge on one particular person. That night, Kirito travels to the park, meeting the ghost again. However, this time she talks to him. Kirito asks her if she wanted him to search for something, and she again points at something and disappears. Just then, Kirito gets a call, saying that Klein is in the hospital since last night for a broken arm. Later at the predicted place of battle, 9 p.m. strikes, starting the battle as usual. The girls are kicking butts. With 3 minutes left on the clock, Hiram moves forward. The portal opens in the sky and out comes Pina, Silica's virtual pet. Suddenly, Pina transforms into a ferocious dragon and attacks Silica. As she's running away from it, Hiram punishes her midway through the attack. Asuna, in order to protect Silica, jumps in between, getting annihilated. Kirito witnesses all this and gets furious at Hiram. but Hiram draws his sword, insulting him as VR's greatest hero, not measuring to anything in AR. Time's up and the battle ends. Kirito drops Asuna home. The next morning, Asuna wakes up and tries to remember her moments with Kirito, but for some reason, she can't remember his face at all. At 2:30 a.m., she calls him to come to the server, and she confesses that she has lost all her memories about SAO in their meeting. The next morning, she goes for a checkup. The doctor informs them that her brain has been scanned for specific memories, and there have been more cases like that. One thing common about all the patients is they all participate in ordinal scale battle events. There's a chance she might lose more of her memories. While they are discussing these situations, Asuna sees something and faints. Elsewhere, Hiram is rejoicing in his power. He remembers his SAO days and how he can soon fulfill a promise he made to some girl back then. Meanwhile, Kirito talks to Klein and asks him if he remembers anything about SAO, to which he replies his memories are hazy as well. Kirito logs on to Ogma and warns everyone about the memory haze, only to be criticized as a point hogger. Facing such criticism, he searches ordinal scale rankings to find the first position to be empty. Kirito reaches the battle place to search for Hiram, but not finding him. Kirito and Yui decide to collect data from the fight. The game begins, and as an unsuspecting boss enters, Yui informs them that currently 10 battles are commencing and the bosses will shuffle around. As the battle goes on, Yui follows the scanned memories through the drones only to be capped out. On the other hand, Kirito finishes the battle. Kirito spots the ghost girl again. However, this time, her hood falls off. She looks like Yuna. Kirito follows her, but she disappears. Kirito remembers that the ghost girl had asked him to search for something while pointing at it. He asks Yui to plot it onto Kiyo's map. They find out that the location is pointing towards the Toto Institute of Technology. Yui runs a search with the institute along with Hiram. However, Kirito suspects something in relation to the designer of Ogma, the professor. In the institute, Kirito attends one of the lectures of the professor and asks him if AR has any danger that VR does not, and that is AR turning the real world into a virtual world. The professor deflects the question by saying he will answer it in the next session. In a private meeting, Kirito asks the professor if he knows Hiram as he worked in his lab. The professor denies knowing Hiram, so Kirito asks about the impact of Ogma on people's memories. He denies knowing any of this as well. He also points out that this feature might not be a bad thing, as forgetting about their life in SAO might be a blessing. Saying so, he makes Kirito leave. While he walks out, Kirito notices a photo of a girl on his table. While researching the photo, he finds that the professor had a daughter called Yuna who passed away. Apparently, she was also a victim of SAO. Finding all this out, Kirito asks an authority, Mr. Kikoka of MIA, if he can shut down the program. Mr. Kikoka seems helpless without solid evidence, as this is a matter related to the Ministry of Economy, Trade, and Industry. Mr. Kikoka advises Kirito not to fight any more bosses, because if he loses his memory, it will be a huge problem. Kirito goes to meet Asuna at her place as she's scared to go out. Ooh, first home visit. Kirito finds her diary in the room and he starts reading it. Stupid boy has no concept of privacy. He reads all about her feelings, about losing memories and their promise. When Asuna walks in and Kirito runs and hugs her, apologizing and confessing his love, Asuna reciprocates, leading to a kiss. Kirito gets determined to get her memories back and asks her to trust him. That night, Kirito gets a notification at the fighting place. When he reaches there, the hooded girl behind him takes his memories. Inside the server, he meets the girl and calls her Yuna. He asks her why she sent him to the professor, and why is Ogma stealing the memories. She just starts singing and tells him all she wants to do is sing, and in order to save Asuna, he has to improve his ranking. Saying so, she makes him wake up. That night, Kirito runs all around the city, killing bosses to move up the ranking system. As he moves up the rank, Hiram comes and knocks down Kirito. Suddenly, he notices a purple crystal behind Hiram's head. Kirito gets a message to come to the concert to get Asuna's memory back. On the day of the concert, Kirito goes to meet Hiram and they fight as the concert begins. On the sidelines, we hear the professor saying that Hiram was with Yuna in SAO and he could not protect her. Hence, the professor and Hiram are collecting the memories of other SAO survivors to use deep learning and resurrect Yuna as an AI. The professor reveals that OS rankings are absolute, and whoever gets number 1 becomes immortal. Meanwhile, Kirito attacks the purple crystal behind Hiram, saying he can't lose to someone who denies his past self just because he suffered once. Kirito asks how to get Asuna's memory back, to which Hiram replies that it's too late, as the drones in the concert are scanning the brains of every SAO survivor there to bring Yuna back to life. And it seems all the SAO survivors are there, including Asuna, Liz, Silica, and yeah, everyone. Mr. Kikoka calls Kirito and informs him that the drones have such power that if they scan the brains, it might cause permanent memory loss or even lead to death. Yuna finishes her songs and suddenly, tons of SAO bosses enter the stadium and a huge battle begins. Ghost Yuna tries to stop the professor, but he's still stubborn. The MIA authorities search for the professor, leaving the stadium for Kirito. Hiram calls the professor to know about the progress, however the professor asks for his memories of Yuna as well, as he was the one with her the longest in SAO. Tit for tat is what it's called. Back at the stadium, Ghost Yuna protects Asuma and Kirito and tells them to go to the place they met before as it is the final level and defeat the boss there, unlocking the full drive function of Agma. Kirito says that he'll save, and before leaving, he gifts the ring to Asuna and tells her they will complete the promise when he gets back. They land at the 100th level and fight the final boss of SAO. In the stadium, Asuna realizes that Yuna died trying to finish SAO, so she gets motivated to fight and joins Kirito. She reaches at a crucial moment to save everyone. Yui also reaches with extra help. She brings the save data of the SAO game. The epic fight comes to an end with Kirito's last hit. Kirito returns to the stadium protecting Yuna, and the OS ranking system ranks him number 1 and Yuna number 2. After defeating the professor's plans, Yuna sings through the battle. As Yuna was linked to the final boss, she could exist. But now that the boss is defeated, the system will reset. She'll disappear as well. Before leaving, Yuna returns Asuna's memories. The movie ends at Mount Dodaira, where Kirito puts a ring on Asuna's finger and witnesses a meteor shower. Also, a kiss.
Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on the notification, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.